space for conversation around women's health through the lens of naturopathic and Eastern medicine. I am Sandy Ross, and this is Her Earth Medicine Podcast. This podcast is multi-leveled. Episodes for patient education to graduate practitioner level. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you gain value from this episode. Welcome back to the Her Earth Medicine podcast on Feng Shui. This is our two-part episode recording with Lauren and Pamela from the Feng Shui Collective discussing all things Feng Shui. In this episode, the ladies are touching on mirrors and what to do about your mirrors in your home to enhance the energy. We talk about plants. We also talk about the 5 elements and how you can introduce, things and colors and objects and whatnot to enhance the 5-element flow in your home. And also the ladies talk about office space and the importance on having organization in your office space. So let's dive in, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, we're back again. Sorry about that. We just had a little technical issue. Lauren, you were just going on about the amazing things we can do for our bathroom, I believe. You were talking about the colors, the elements. Do you want to elaborate any more on that?
I feel fairly complete on that. Mom, what do you think?
Let's talk a minute about mirrors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We can talk about mirrors in the bedroom. Remember I said that mirrors have a lot of energy? So if you have a lot of mirrors in your bedroom, it's a good idea to cover them up at night. I have a closet in my guest bedroom that is a double huge mirror covering the closet doors. And what I do is I put a curtain rod up in front of the mirror, the closet, and I hang some linen panels. I like real lightweight sheer linen panels, so that at night I can pull the panels down and you can feel the energy just going down. Is palpable. And then during the day, you can tie them up and in a decorative way, and so that they can be used. You never want mirrors to be facing each other in a room, because the energy is just
Infinite.
Right, it's infinite. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So be careful of that anywhere in your home.
I've got one more thing with mirrors. It's really important to take a look at what your mirrors are reflecting. So, for example, in my bedroom, when I walk by my bedroom, I have a dresser with a mirror on top of it. And I was noticing that for years I just had this. It was reflecting this one giant tapestry. Just one tapestry. It was like a sort of a makeshift large wall covering because it was to scale at the time. But I redid the wall that the mirror was reflecting, and I created a driftwood sort of yarn piece, and I hung a few hats. So now, and also put a lot of plants on the dresser that the mirror is on top of. So now when I walk by my mirror in my bedroom, I see the plants, and then it also reflects back my beautiful wall hanging and my hat wall. And it's just every time I walk by it, I'm like, yes, this is so beautiful. So if your mirror is reflecting something that is not pleasing to the eye, you're essentially doubling that energy. It kind of leads us really quick segue into the stove. The stove is one of the most vital places in your entire home because it's a source of heat and nourishment, and it feeds you and your family. If you're feeling ever distraught about money, regardless of if your stove is in your abundance area or not, you can whip out your rubber gloves, get to work on your stove, clean it, make sure the buttons are working and the knobs are working and that the flame is good, and place a mirror over the top of your stove or on your actual stove. Ideally, it's sort of pointing down at your burners. And that will essentially double your wealth because it's doubling that heat, doubling that abundance, doubling that abundance of health and wealth. Because health is wealth. So that's another fun thing that I think everyone listening can do is to clean your stove. It's not a popular opinion to go get the degreaser out, but it's very powerful.
And it's simple.
Yeah. With intention. Working with intention. Always.
Okay, I need to get the bolognese off the side of the stove. No, I don't. I've got a clean stove. So, what about the kitchen?
Oh, what do you want to take it, Mom? The kitchen's it's fun.
Well, the kitchen is, really the stove is it's one of the three most important things in your home. Mm-hmm. And so when we work in a kitchen, we always get to work on the stove. Now, if you happen to put a mirror over your stove to reflect your burners, thinking about doubling your wealth, and you've got a mess on your stove, think about doubling your mess. Mm-hmm. So that's why we say mirrors are very powerful. Now, the rest of the kitchen is, we talk about a balance of the 5 elements. So make sure that you have a balance of fire and wood and earth and metal and water in the kitchen. There's a lot of water in the kitchen. Now, there are some thinking about not having the sink right next to the stove, because the stove is the fire and the sink is the water, and to put a plant in between to help cut that. Really, we look at what is pleasing to the eye in the kitchen. We worked with a client last week who her kitchen is in her family and creativity area, and her focus was to enhance her creativity.
She's an artist.
Mm-hmm. Did I say children and creativity? That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, you said family and creativity, but it's the same thing, children and creativity, because children are your family.
Well, there is the family and health area too.
Right.
So children and creativity. So we got to work on our counters. Let's just clear the counters. And really, that's a Marie Kondo thing. I'm not sure Marie Kondo is a thing in Australia.
We love her.
Yeah.
We love Marie Kondo. And her thinking is, you just start on the premise that everything is off the counters. Everything is clean and dry.
Okay.
And that is an amazing energy lift.
It is. So, yeah, I think in the kitchen, just to sort of round that out, I think that there are a lot of complications between stove, sink, how you face your stove when you're cooking. In Feng Shui, you never want to be startled. So right now I'm actually recording in an area that I don't typically record Zoom videos in, because this is a podcast, because someone could startle me from behind me. And so, there's, when you're facing the stove at the same time in the kitchen, you don't want anyone to, I think a lot of people, I'm not sure if it's a lot of people. I think a lot of people face their stove and then they have the whole rest of the house behind them. And so the mirror not only is doubling your wealth, but it's acting as another source of protection, much like the fan over your bed in the bedroom. So that's the kitchen is somewhere where we love to see in person, or we do virtual consults as well all over the world. But we love a little Zoom video tour so we can see what's happening in your kitchen, and see your it's called the power position of where you're cooking. There's a power position in your office of where you're working, and there's power positions in every room. And Mom talked about the power position of your bed as well.
Okay, so interesting. And I think everybody loves a clean bench top. Oh, we've just frozen there. You ladies there?
I'm frozen.
That's all right. We're back on.
So there's also a power position in the office, which is where your desk is facing, so that you're not being snuck up on. Again, Feng Shui is full of metaphors, and we don't want any surprises or being snuck up on. We don't want anything going down any drains, etc. So it's the most fun.
Okay, right. So what other things, home offices are big right now. Okay, everyone is online, everyone's working from home. Can we touch on a few things to enhance the energy, the creativity, and also, I guess, motivation? Because a lot of people around the world aren't feeling it.
Yeah.
Well, we've developed a distance learning toolbox, and it talks a lot about the office. And we do talk about the office in our Feng Shui fundamental course. But basically, your power position of your desk is facing the door, as far away from the door as you can get, but not in direct alignment with the door.
Okay.
So the other thing is that your office should be tidy for creativity. I've heard people tell me, I can't tell you how many times, that I know exactly where every single thing is in this mess. Well, your mind cannot wrap itself around a mess and be creative because it's clutter.
Organized chaos, I believe they call it.
It's a good idea to empty the trash every day. It's a good idea and a good work habit to make sure that your desk is ready to start the next day before you close it down for the night. Another thing that we found is that people have set up their offices and their classrooms in their bedrooms. Not a good idea, because they're competing energies. When you're working or you're studying, that's a whole different energy than when you're trying to go to sleep at night. So if you do have to have, your space is so limited that you're not able to have your office or study space in another area, do what you can to separate the two. Little screen, plants, whatever, a curtain, whatever you can do to make your office or your study area a separate area, so that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you see is not how much work that you still have to do.
Okay.
Another thing that we recommend is that if you do have your office set up in your bedroom, walk around your house and see if there is another option, if there's any other option, and be creative. Is there a room that you just throw a bunch of stuff in that you never use? Can you clean that out and turn that into an office? We have one client who set up a tent in her garage as a classroom for her kids. So take a look around your home with fresh eyes, because your office, your work area, your study area deserves to have a space of its own, because, the coronavirus may go away, but I don't think that the work or the study at home is going to go away, and it deserves to have its own special place.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have transitioned to working from home, so it's a permanent thing for a lot of people.
Right. I mean, just the sheer thought of how much overhead some of these companies are saving by not having the office spaces, and understanding now that the productivity of a work from home environment can be the same. Not always the same, but it can be. And then the last thing I wanted to tie to what you said, Mom, is, we said clear the clutter off of your desk. And this is something that I struggle with. I'm like a creative person, and I feel like I don't have a ton. I do really like to keep my office tidy. But we have a lot of clients that are very tidy and that are very type A, and they are very Virgo-y, like my mother, where there is not often Virgo-y, that's a verb, it's a new verb. There's not a lot of stuff that's out of place. And what we say to that is, when you have a really, really tidy environment, things can tend to feel a bit stale. So if you're tidy, you are not immune to the power and to the delight of Feng Shui. It's more at that point about getting into a space and moving stuff around. Just moving the movement. Feng Shui is the movement of matter with intention. So we really want people that are, in this tidy category, if you're listening, to understand that you go and just pull everything off. It's like your entryway, right? Start fresh, move stuff around, put things back with intention that you love, and positive change will occur. And, we've talked a little bit about our client success, but we have had so many wonderful stories. And this is why we do what we do. We're writing a book. We're creating a Feng Shui journal. It's going to be part day planner, part Feng Shui project journal, part just sort of a cheers to these wonderful stories. Like, this is why we do what we do. When we say, someone writes us and says, oh my gosh, I redid my entryway, or I did my abundance area and I found $100 bill in my jacket.
Wow.
This is happening on a daily basis for us. Also, can I just give a quick shout out to TikTok? We are on TikTok, which is very strange.
Okay.
I didn't think it was going to be like a mode of business, but we just had a video hit. I think it's almost at 50,000 views, and we have almost 7,000 followers. And so if you are a TikToker and you're listening, we've been creating some really fun content that is, just different from Instagram. So depending on how you're absorbing your content these days, young, old, TikTok, Instagram, groups on Facebook, we're doing it because modernizing Feng Shui is, like I said, how we get this into the hands of everyone.
Yeah, I love that. We'll definitely be sure to add your links to your TikTok. And modernizing it, that's kind of how I feel about Chinese medicine too. As a lecturer at the university here, and I've taught Chinese dietetics for the past 4 years, and what happens traditionally in China, people would not eat here. So it's definitely about modernizing it. How can we take what's amazing and works from the Chinese perspective and apply it to the Western world? So I love what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Wow. Wait, can we interview you? We don't have a podcast, but I want to know about what you're teaching. It's so fascinating.
Sure. No worries. We can do that for sure. Okay, so I want to debunk a few things, if that's okay. And these are some of the things that I've learned along the way. One of the things was definitely about the entryway. You've already covered that. The mirrors, you've already covered that. So my parents are gardeners and they have a plant nursery. And so I grew up with plants. And so I've always loved having the plants in the home. And one of the main aspects of Feng Shui I've learned is the money tree at the front door to bring the money in, and one at the back door to stop the money from leaving. What's your thoughts on that?
I love that. I had never heard that before, but it makes perfect sense because money trees have circular leaves, right?
Yes.
So they connote coins or money. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you put it at your entryway with intention of bringing in money, and you put it at your back door with the intention of keeping the money in the home, circulating, I love that.
Yeah. Well, and one thing we teach is that it's, we've had a client that the money was flying out the window. And what we realized is that their front door was in direct alignment with their back door. And so I think something with the money tree is that you are physically slowing the flow of energy down from coming in your front door, going straight out your back door. It's really important that you're hanging. I have a crystal over mine. Because my front and back doors are in alignment. Mm. And I think that it's such a fun, I know like we haven't heard of the money tree at the front and back, but my instinct says that it's something about slowing the energy down from flying out the back window. So, okay. I love it.
Cool. Are there any other plants that you guys, I know in China, I've studied in China, they have the little bamboo-ish ones. I'm not a fan. Some people are. Obviously people's styles come into it and what plants they like. Here, like monsteras are really big, peace lilies, cactus are huge. Are there any particular plants that you guys would recommend for different energies?
Well, we love coin shape and heart shape for money and romance, right?
Yeah.
Like a nice
chain of hearts. Do you know them?
Pothos for, pothos is a really nice heart-shaped vine.
Yep.
The pilea for the money is fantastic. There's also, bonsai is also really traditional that can be, the bonsai truly planted is the epitome of the 5 elements in one. So it has the water and there's usually a little staturine, or is that a word, staturine? A little statue thing.
Yep.
The bonsai setup is usually encompasses all 5 elements. And then, monsteras are fantastic. I just got a new one because they're very fast growing. Mm. I think that plants that you look at that feel beautiful and that are healthy and that are growing quickly can represent certain things in your life. And then you have something like a fiddle leaf fig, which is so slow growing, but it's still beautiful. If you were wanting to hold on to certain energies or keep things close to you, a fiddle leaf might be good as a slower growing plant in certain places. But honestly, all plants are delicious. They are life force. And the one thing about plants is that, silk plants in Feng Shui are okay with us as long as they look like they're real and you want to approach them and touch them. So if you're like, that's a fake plant from 5 feet away, it's no good.
Okay.
If you need to place plants in your home where they want to live, not where you want them to live. And I'm just going to switch it over to Mom because her green thumb is like inherited through me. She is the queen of the plant. So what do you say, Mom?
Well, the good plants you mentioned, there are a couple of caveats to that. One is there's a plant called mother-in-law's tongue.
Yes.
I don't know the Latin name, but it's a tall, spiky plant.
Yeah.
You don't really want that in a place of intimacy in your bedroom.
Metaphors.
Think about the name, mother-in-law's plant.
Yep.
It is a good plant for outside by your front door because it's spiky and it will offer protection.
Okay.
Now, I know that the bonsai is representative of the 5 elements. So one thing to be thinking about, though, before you purchase that bonsai, is that a bonsai represents stunted growth. And I don't think that is necessarily an energy that you would want in your home.
Okay. Yeah, right. Super interesting. You guys have given us some really great info here. Can I just ask one more question in regards to like cluttery things? So I notice a lot of people hang like bags and whatnot on doorknobs. That's a no? Yep. Okay.
No.
Yep.
It's interfering with the flow of the door. And think about it energetically, where you might get yourself or a coat or a purse or something caught on that. So really with doors, we want full range of motion, and we don't want anything behind or in front of the door. There's exceptions, obviously, if this is a space where you need to hang, whatever, they're secure for that. But ideally, your doors are free of stuff behind and in front of them, and they can open and close freely. Also, they're not squeaky. And it just reminded me that my linen closet door is very squeaky. So WD-40 is a great remedy for that.
Okay, cool. All right. And there's just one more thing, actually, I just thought about that I didn't ask, and that's to do with colours, because right now, I think particularly here in Australia, decor colours are trending that are like orangey, pinky, reddish, like especially in those kind of Moroccan rugs, cushions, and then you've got your interior furnishings like white paint, like you said, a lot of white. There's some of the neutral woods being used, and people are really into the kind of white ratani kind of lightish color furnitures. Is it all about just getting a balance of those 5 elements, right? So there's no problem with having the reds and the oranges and whatnot, because they're kind of, I guess that's fire and earth, as long as there's the wood, and then you've got some of the whites with the metal, and then what element am I forgetting? The water element. Wood with the plants, yeah. So is it just about kind of creating a balance within the 5 elements with the colors?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it can be very subtle. I think that, let's say that you're really into this sort of burnt orange. It's like this rust brick color with this white, right? That's so on trend. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But we just had one of our Instagram posts, the most recent one, had the biggest, 20,000 reach, engagement, likes through the roof, 600 likes or whatever. And it was this beautiful sort of brick and white, but there were plants and there were fire piece elements. And so what I think everyone resonated with when they saw this post was that everything was in balance. So you can absolutely have these really crispy white interiors. You can have this beautiful brick and pink situation. What we recommend, I think, and Mom, correct me if you want to add anything else, but even if you have a coffee table and you have like a tray on your coffee table, just look at the 5, make sure you have all the 5 elements on the coffee table. and that will really create a nice effect throughout the entire room. So let's say you have a really white, forward environment in your living room. You have lots of white, lots of creams. Even just having a space on a credenza or a coffee table where you can introduce all 5 of the elements, or 4 at least, to bring the white into balance, it's going to feel so much better.
Okay, that's really interesting. And I think of a lot of my clients that I work with fertility too, and a lot of them do have those kind of trendy, very white, crisp homes. And so
rattan,
yeah,
peachy,
so maybe the
white,
water element
totally.
is deficient, which is kidneys, which is like vital chi force in Chinese medicine. It'd be really
Absolutely.
interesting to chat with you guys about the health implications of Feng Shui, but that would be another podcast. So they might...
a fun one.
Yeah, definitely. So they might just need to try and find ways to bring more of the water element into their home.
Well, one thing that we say is your spaces your spaces affect you and reflect you.
Okay.
So for your clients, if they're having a health issue, you and us, we can trace that back to maybe a deficiency of a certain element and aid in a way that is your physical space is affecting you. It's, they need the traditional Chinese medicine and the herbs and the exercise and the Ayurvedic or whatever eating, but also considering your physical space too can really have an effect on your health.
Oh yeah, totally. The environment, definitely. I mean, I know I can't sit down to do work. I mean, I'm sitting on the floor right now because I like sitting on the floor, but when I'm doing like my marking or whatever I'm creating, I need a clear space otherwise. And so many women I know, especially mums too, we kind of get a little bit OTT with it. We need to clean the house before we can sit down and do our work. And that's just because we feel calm, we feel relaxed, we get our tea, we get our water, we get set up. Men maybe not the same, some are like that. It doesn't bother them as much, I've noticed. But yeah, it totally interrelates with the Feng Shui philosophy, which I love.
Yeah. I mean, traditional Chinese medicine, Feng Shui is one of the 8 branches. And, why we were so inspired to speak with you, and your background is we're really wanting to explore all of the 8 branches. And so we have things like gua sha. Feng Shui is also called geomancy, which is, it's the study of your space. And, there's the qigong. And, there's so many, the Tai Chi and it's not Tai Chi, sorry, there's the Qigong and there's the acupressure. There's so many wonderful things that I think that the ancient Chinese cultures just really mastered, and the West is just dipping our feet in. You're in Australia. I think that, we have a lot to learn from you as well. And we're so curious about the full 8 branches of TCM. It's fascinating.
Well, thank you so much for sharing what you guys have. And can you just maybe tell us a little bit about some of these online courses and maybe this book that's coming out soon?
Mom, go.
Well, the book is coming out hopefully by the spring, and that was inspired because of all of the coincidences that occur from our practice. We have, during the pandemic, we have sort of pivoted our business model to offer more online courses. We have a learning library that you can access from our website. Lauren is really taking the lead on the social media. You want to talk about that, Lauren?
Sure, yeah. Well, a couple things. So we have our signature 6-week Feng Shui fundamentals course. So this is for the gal who's like, I love it. I'm ready to dig in. I want to take a 6-week course. I've got, a few hours a week. I want to learn all the things and just be able to do the work myself. That's fun. The virtual consults have been really fun. We keep flirting with the idea of us both having virtual reality glasses as we walk through your home. I'm not sure about the technology there yet, but it's on the horizon. But until then, a good Zoom consult, it's $150 for like an hour, and we'll give you the good stuff. I think, the socials. So on Instagram, we're at Feng Shui Collective, and that's just been such a really joyful way for us to build community. And the goal of that community is to send folks over to our super wonderful, super active, just lovely Feng Shui Facebook group. So it's a public group. Anyone can join. It's like asking questions. We check in often. We have weekend project alerts, which have always been really fun and popular. And so people are posting before and after pictures. And then TikTok, hello, we're at Feng Shui Collective there. So that's been fun. It's crazy because we've taken a year to get to about 4,000. I think we're almost at 5,000 on Instagram. And, like we said, our mission, we want everyone to know about Feng Shui. So this growth is important to us so that we can reach more people. So that was a year, that we've spent just grinding and doing the Instagram and just doing everything we can. And then we had a couple viral videos on TikTok, and we have over 6,000 followers in like less than a month. So if you're listening and you're like, I don't know about TikTok, I think it's for teenagers, we are really tapped into this sort of energetic TikTok land. So, Sandy, even you as a practitioner, teaching some of your things on there, it's just such a generous social media platform for letting you have a lot of exposure. But do go see us there. And then we're always in our DMs. Mm-hmm. We're always in our DMs. We're always answering comments. Mom's goal is to practice Feng Shui every day. And I think our social channels really allow that to happen. So
awesome. And we'll put all the details to your TikTok and all that in the show notes.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much for your time. I've personally already got so much insight out of this conversation. I'm already like, okay, this is what I need to tackle. I know where to go. And if I have questions, I'll be sure to check out the courses and look forward to the book too. I think that'd be great. I love little daily, check-in journaling, all that sort of stuff. It's awesome. So thanks again for your time. And hopefully we can chat about another topic on the podcast potentially soon, hey?
I'm so grateful for you, Sandy, and I love that we just found each other on Instagram. Like this is the whole point,
Yeah.
It's so special,
the connection. So thanks again, ladies.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's been awesome. Thank you for listening. I have been a practitioner of naturopathic and Chinese medicine for over a decade. I have a master's degree of health science and I am an academic lecturer at Australia's leading natural medicine college. I am available worldwide online for bookings. Simply go to sandyrosshealth.com.